Hi, people. My name is Naomi, and I am the. I have decided that it's been in my heart for some time now. And usually, when something's in my heart, it's usually from God, and God's speaking to me. And it's only on this specific subject that I am going to introduce to you all. And I'm going to start a blog, a live blog on YouTube. So if you're interested in anything I'm saying, if you relate to it, if you know somebody that's in a situation that I'm going to explain or talk about or need any advice, click subscribe down here and you will get notified when I go on YouTube again and make another video. And the purpose of doing this video is because I have survived many years of abuse, starting from a young age, in my early teens, all the way until 2000. Well, you know what? I won't put a year on it because I think there's all forms of abuse. But specifically, I am a domestic violence survivor. I am 54 years old. I have 3 grown children and 3 grandsons. As a matter of fact, those pictures back there behind me is my oldest grandson. He never wants to part ways, and he's always with me, and he draws pictures for me, and it's just silly. I don't like the way it looks in my video, but I look up briefly and see and remember the love that he has for me and that I have for him and all my grandkids, of course. So again, I am going to touch the subject of domestic violence on many different levels. I am a survivor by the grace of God. Okay, all my life as being raised in a Christian home, and that's going to be controversial later, but being raised that way in the church, I've always had some form of relationship with God, and I'm not going to preach to you. I'm going to give you my frame of mind at stages in my life and why it's so important for me to mention this as I do my video. So just follow along with me. I might go here and there and everywhere, but I just want to have you get to know me. And why? You know why? Because a lot of people go through things and they're silent about it, right? They're very secretive because they don't want people to know that they're suffering. Okay? And then there are those who suffer and tell the world, but then never get out of it. You know? So I'm here to discuss many forms of abuse. Can come from physical, emotional, spiritual, PTSD, rape, molestation, verbal abuse. You could be a prisoner of your own mind, okay? And a lot of it is because of what we've suffered in our life, or something that we may have not been educated on, whether through our family, through church, through an elder, a role model. Some people just don't know. Some people don't know that when somebody speaks to you in a form of disrespect, that is actually verbal abuse. And that's an abuse. And you get so much of that in your head, and you repeat that cycle to your children and to others around you. We're not breaking the cycle for the next generation. So I'm here to talk to you about different ways and different things that I went through and how I learned in the process along the way how to get out of situations, how I've survived situations, how I've survived death, okay? How I have survived death, actual being pronounced dead. If I can do it, anybody can do it, okay? Because I'm not a silver spoon daughter. I never had anything handed to me or given to me. I have worked since the age of 12. Okay, everything I have is because I work hard for it. or people give it to me as a gift. And right now, financially, I'm struggling. And when I get through the series of my videos, it's gonna all make sense. It's gonna all make sense. So I want to take it slow. And again, like, if you really want to follow my videos, you want to follow my story, just, click subscribe down here. Make your comments, share with me, and I can discuss them with you as well. But I'm here unconditionally. There is nothing. I get nothing from this except following my heart and the words of Christ that he put into my heart, that I need to get out there and share my story with the world. Because even if I save one person, one home, man, woman, or child, okay, one situation, by my words getting instilled in your heart, in your head, because you listened, and you listen good, because there's nothing here. I don't get no joy, no money, no nothing. I do get joy. I'm so sorry. I get joy because I love doing this. I've never done a YouTube video before, but I love speaking to people. I love helping people. That it was my mission. That is my purpose. And so I start asking you, have you ever thought of what your purpose in life is? And you could be a teenager, you could be a child, you could be an elder, you could be an adult, you could be a female, a male, you can be going through transition sexually, you can be going through the biggest battle in your life. But have you ever actually asked yourself, what is my purpose in life? And thought about it and say, what do I do? What do I have? What talent do I have? What skill do I have? Even being patient is a skill. Even being patient, because you may be able to deal with somebody that is going through a long and hard situation, and you are the only person there to stand by them and be patient as they go through the process. So there's nothing little. You may have the money. You may be able to sing. You may be able to drive. You may be able to donate. You may be able to go and build things and create things and be really smart electronically. People, that is a gift. That is a gift. You didn't wake up from birth knowing this. This is instilled in your head, in your life, from the day you were created. And then it just takes time to process in your life as you feed it. So whatever you feed your life, whatever you feed yourself, whether it's negative or positive, that's what the outcome is going to be. So I'm trying to avoid these situations in your life, to do a downward spiral, okay? If you could stop it somewhere in your life before you fall to the ground, or you get hurt, or you get killed, or you go insane. This year alone, in my surrounding, there has been at least 4 suicides. One of them starting at the age 12. 2 of them were hangings. One was pills, and one was with gas in a car. Okay? Young people. The oldest was in his 30s. These people haven't lived life yet. What was going through their mind that they feel so strongly? How can you mentally get into your head and convince yourself that your little body, that little 12-year-old girl that hung herself, how did she get to that point? What was going on in her life for her to tie a noose around her neck and purposely just end her life, and know that everybody that found her hanging there was going to be destroyed from there on? There was no turning back. So I'm going to get away from these examples. I'm going to go back on me. So these are the things that I'm very, very aware of going on in our world. But these were just personal people around me. And it's so devastating, and it's so sad. And this is why I'm doing this. Because, nobody deserves to be alone. Nobody deserves to go at something alone when they're facing a challenge in their life. Okay? Nobody deserves that. We have hotlines. We have churches. We have friends. But if we don't pick up that phone, okay, and make that first call, And if we don't watch videos like this and educate ourselves, we don't know what stairs to climb in our life, okay? To turn them into milestones and to get out of those stairs, those tall, long stairs, and turn them into milestones in your life where you take your examples of your problems and you build around them to make them strong enough to be there for somebody else. And so you can be me, okay, somewhere down the line and testify that you have survived something dramatic in your life, whether it was for a day or for years. So I'm going to start with my teenage years. And I was 15, and I had the hugest crush on this guy in school. He was 16, I was 15. We were very, very sheltered in our household. My parents were racist, and I say were racist. And I hate that so-called relationship, you know. And to be completely blunt with you, it was not a sexual relationship. It was a pretty shy relationship. And he had this hold over me that I was so apparently in love with him. And so we were in school together, and everybody knew we were an item. But yeah, he kept flirting with people, but I was his girl. So, you know, it didn't matter, because when it all was said and done, I was his girl. And then, you know, there were times that I would do something in school that was opposite of what he wanted me to do. And it all started one day, and I was 15. Yeah, I was 15. And he'd tell me, meet me in the corridor of the school, whatever side, whatever, right? So I go, and I'm all happy. And I said, what's up? And he's like, didn't I tell you to do this, this, and this? And right away, I'm like, I couldn't do it. And I gave my excuses, and with my mouth open like this, you know, he slapped me so hard across the face. So I was leaning against the banister, and he slapped me so hard my body rammed or went to the wall of the building. I was holding my face, and I was like, why did you hit me? Because that's what happens when you don't listen to me. Well, you're not my dad. Slap. I gotta slap again. Don't ever tell me that, because I know I'm not your dad. I'm not trying to be your dad. I'm your man, and you're gonna listen to me. So now at this point, I'm looking around. Who saw this? You know, somebody secretly hoping somebody would see me and like intervene and get involved or something. But I just shied down, and it was the first time I remember cringing and feeling little, very little. And I apologized. Imagine apologizing for him slapping me. I'm apologizing for not doing what he said, like he was my father. But anyway, time went by, and he didn't do that again, but he was very verbally abusive. And I was on pins and needles, but, you know, again, I'm this cool chick, you know, sheltered girl, and he picked me. He picked me, and I was so honored. I would brush off what he did to me, you know, no big deal, I won't tell nobody, and I didn't. I didn't, because I knew better, and I was ashamed of myself. Plus, I didn't want it to get back to him. So I'm going to go up further. A year went by, and he got arrested. He got arrested for mugging an elderly woman and dragging her 50 feet down the block. Okay? Was in jail for a couple years, and I was so sad, but I know in my heart I was relieved, because I felt safe, because he was not around me. We wrote to each other, whatever. So he did his time, and I remember hearing through the grapevine that he was out of jail, out of prison. They tried him as an adult. And I was so nervous, and my friend said, let's go see him, let's go see him. And she said to me, you know when, and I said, but I don't know if I love him anymore, I don't know if I want to be with him. She says, well, the only way you're going to get to know is if you go see him in person and you feel your heart melt all over again. So I took it as, okay, that's a pretty sure sign. And she drove me down this down a few blocks down. We were in the same town, and knocked on the door, and right away he was like, "Hey!" and he grabs me and he hugs me, and I just fell like a heavy load of laundry into his arms, and I just sunk. And I looked up at his eyes and saw the happiness in his eyes, and I was like, oh my God, I think I still love him. Well, people, that was the beginning of my nightmare. And I'm going to go further. And when my mom found out we were in a relationship, I was still a virgin. I was 17 when she found out. So 2 years had gone by. And it was New Year's Eve, or New Year's Day night. New Year's Day night. Oh, New Year's Eve. I apologize. I'm going too far ahead. We went away for New Year's, to celebrate New Year's in New York. Somehow, we went to a club with my cousins. We weren't allowed to do that, so we jumped on that. And when I say we, it's always me and my older sister, who did not get along, by the way, at all. And we went clubbing to this one place and had a party. One of my cousins gives one of the guys I danced with my phone number. Long story short, the dumb dude calls my house, collect, and I'm freaking out because I never gave him my number. I barely remembered him. I danced with him one time, and I hung up the phone. My mother took the phone call, and saw that it was collect, and she's like, what the heck are you doing? We have to pay collect calls, and who is this guy? Well, long story short, my mother called me a slut. I'm a virgin. I had one boyfriend I was hiding. I didn't go boyfriend to boyfriend to boyfriend. It was my first boyfriend. I was so hurt. I was so annoyed because it wasn't the first time that she has done something to me. And we'll go into that later. So I took advantage that she went to church at night. And I had two younger siblings. They were 10 and 8 at the time. And I packed all my stuff that I could carry into a Glad garbage bag. I told my cousin, watch the kids. As they dragged on my ankles and trying not to let me out of the house. Please don't go, please don't go. My cousin begged, don't go. I said, I'm done. I'm done being abused. And I walked in the nighttime, in the dark, with my big Santa Glad bag full of all my clothes and makeup. I went to my best friend's house, and she snuck me in. And that's where my adulthood started. I stayed with her for a while. I got to see this gentleman, or this guy, as much as I wanted to, still hiding the fact that I was seeing him. I hadn't called my mom. I didn't call my mom for like 5 months. I didn't tell her where I was, that I was alive or anything. And in that 5 months, I moved in with this guy and his mother. Yeah, adulthood started. Remember when he slapped me in school and he didn't like the fact that I didn't listen to him? Well, the list got longer. The expectations got larger and bigger, and I was not safe. I was not safe. So now these slaps, they started turning into this. Okay? Pushing, boxing with my head, holding me down by my throat, just hitting me like I was an opponent, a defenseless opponent. And I wasn't defenseless. This guy was a bodybuilder. He still is to this day. He was much bigger than me, very strong, and very strung out on drugs, okay, which I didn't know at the time. That was just one of the many times that he struck me. And I'm going to tell you that every day that I was with him, I got slapped, beat, hit, tripped, pushed every day. Every day, because now I was on his territory in his mother's house, and his mother called me a fool for taking it. But I had no choice. I had nowhere to go. My mom didn't know where I was. How was I going to go back? How was I going to explain that this big black guy that she couldn't stand was my boyfriend, took my virginity, okay, and I lived right down the road from her, and she didn't know it all this time. So I was really in a hard place. And it's just funny because I'm not going to tell you every day of the situation. We moved into an apartment of our own one year. And by the grace of God, I don't know how we got approved for an apartment back then. He didn't work that much. I didn't have an income, but we got it. I didn't make dinner right one day or something. I don't know what it was. And he pushed my head through a window pane on the 3rd floor of our apartment. I remember just seeing the stars and looking out the sky, and I was on the wrong side. I was on the wrong side because I was just worrying, okay, my head got through, but is he going to throw me out of this window? So I don't know what happened with the glass. I don't even remember injury. I don't remember anything except him holding me down by my neck throughout this window, and then pulling me by my neck and lifting me up and slapping me. So that wasn't insult enough. He had to keep slapping me. So he just threw me in the room, and he threw me down on the floor, sat on my belly, and just kept slapping me and pushing me, taking my head and doing like this against the floor. Well, on one of the occasions he banged my head against the floor, he managed to hit it in an area where there was a nail sticking up. It was a wood nail with the fat surface, and that went through my head. Until this day, I have that scar. It didn't hurt my brain, it just went through my skull. And I remember the paramedics calling, somebody in the building called the paramedics, and they came because I passed out. And all I remember was them pronouncing me dead. I couldn't open my eyes, I couldn't move. All I could do was hear. But they pronounced me dead, and by the 3rd second that they pronounced me dead of the time, I woke up. He left, so they couldn't even catch him. They couldn't arrest him. They couldn't involve him anyway because they were only the EMS. So I just said, yeah, I'm gonna call the cops, and I never did. Because he always said, if you call the cops on me, nobody's gonna recognize you after they're done. I believed it. My God, I was 17 years old. Well, at that time I was 18 years old. And I believed it. I believed everything he said to me. You know why? Because he had already proved to me that he could throw my head out of a glass window, beat me down till almost death, okay? And then not do nothing to help me, and then told me to get up and cook. Okay, people, tell me that is not something, tell me that's something easy to go through, especially at a young age. Okay, but that was back in 1983. 1980, was it? Yeah, 83. 83, yep. And back then they didn't have hotlines. They didn't have resources for you to run to so they can hide you. They had shelters, Roach Motel shelters. Okay, we'll get to that later. Wait till you hear that story. So basically, I'm going to end this now. We're working on 25 minutes. So that's just a taste. A little taste on your tongue. What I went through. Okay? Between the ages of 15 and 18. So just imagine being beat every single day. Okay? Every single day. With a pan, with a hand, with a bat, in every shape or form, being battered. Until this day, I have scars on my body that can only be seen if I show you. And that, my friends, is all by the grace of God. Because when he hurt me, who do you think I cried out for? I didn't call for my mother. I cried out for God. Because he was the only person in my mind that was there for me. And I know that I survived because God allowed me to survive. But then I couldn't understand why he let me survive and go back to it. And so when I come back and do another series, I want to know if you want to hear the rest of the story. And then I'm going to dwell in my childhood and in my adult years. But I wanted to just get started with an example of what I've been through, kind of in the middle of the phase. Because that seems to be the most popular thing that a lot of people are going through is domestic violence. And I just want you to know you're not alone. I want you to know you're not the only person that has been hurt. And there's so many ways to be mutilated. Because that's what I felt like. I was being mutilated. There wasn't a body part of my body that wasn't hit, hurt, touched, or used. And then when I come back, I will discuss a little bit further into that relationship and how I escaped it in another 2 years in total that I had to deal with it and everything I went through in the process, with slamming doors in my face where nobody wanted to help me. Nobody. I actually got called a fool and being accused of being so stupid that nobody saw how hungry I was for somebody to help me. And so this is my purpose today. I would love for you to come back and follow me. I would love that. And if you have any comments to make, please make the comments and I will get back to you. And please rate me, subscribe to me, and join me, because I am so proud to be alive today and so happy to share this journey with you. And if I can help you in any way, just know that I'm here to talk to you, to pray for you, and to cheer you on, okay? Thank you. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye now.